as I've talked with students and everything, right? So now they have everything at their fingertips.
Yeah.
Everything is here,
Yeah.
but it can also be too much. And you
I,
don't know what to choose, like what to trust. We don't
yeah.
know what's greenwashing, what's not, who's being real, who's being transparent. And I think that's kind of tipped the scales, and not
Mhm.
just for the beauty professionals, but I feel like for consumers, they just don't know, and they're really trying hard to make the right choices, but it seems overwhelming, and you just don't know. If you're ready to create a salon business that thrives, but also aligns with your values of clean, holistic, and sustainable practices, then you're in the right place. Whether you're just getting started on your journey or you're already running a successful salon but crave more impact and clarity, this podcast is for you. We're going to dive deep into mindset, systems, and strategies that help salon owners like you grow and scale your business while staying true to your purpose. Every week, we are going to have real conversations about the challenges, the successes of running a holistic salon. And I'll give you my insider tips. So if you're ready to transform your salon into a powerhouse of purpose, profit, and peace, let's get started. All right. Welcome back to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacquelyn Rodriguez. And today I have a very special guest, Irina, with me today. And we met at the Aspire tour, I think, in DC. And the funny thing is that she actually lives in my old hometown, and we know a lot of the same areas, same people. And I've been to her store before I got a chance to meet her. So it was just great meeting you and getting to know your story. So welcome on to the podcast.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having me. And I feel like with us, it's like a full circle moment where we're like probably been in between places of seeing each other, but like we didn't finally meet until we were both in DC.
I love that. And it's so
Yeah.
funny because I'm not right in DC and you're not right in DC, but it was so great the way we met. And, I have a lot of stories like that actually with really good friends. So it's perfect for us.
No, absolutely. And I love just getting to know you and like what you do. And it's amazing just to find like-minded people.
Yes, I think that's the best part. And you have an incredible story. And tell us, for everyone who may not know you, like who you are, where you're, what you're doing, and then we'll dive in deeper.
So I'm Irina and I'm an owner of With Simplicity, the skin spa at With Simplicity and WS School of Aesthetics that we own with my sister-in-law Victoria. And it all started 10 years ago when I finally decided to take my little hobby and like, I'm going to pursue it as a business. I had my third child and I was going through like this extreme detox and like protecting my baby. And I counted myself as already having like a more greener and like sustainable lifestyle to begin with. But when you go through like a pregnancy, it's just this whole nest thing. Like you go a little overboard. And my husband used to say, like, you're just having a baby, you're not dying. Because I had to have like this prep, this done. We can't use this detergent. We have to change this. And I went through this whole thing because at the same time, I left my job to be a stay-at-home mom. Um, and little did I know that like the skincare and makeup that I was using had so many like toxic ingredients and things that are not safe for me or the baby. But for some reason, I just never thought that it would have that. I mean, it's sold in the store as a consumer. Like I've never been in that industry before. And I'm like, if it's sold at a store, it must be good. Like,
Gotta be
what's
safe.
in it? It gotta be safe. And I am one of those people, like I love skincare, but I always like makeup. And I don't wear, me like crazy makeup, but I enjoy mascara, a little bit of blush. Like I just need a little bit of life in my face. And I just like enjoy that. Like I really do. I feel like the older I'm getting, the less I use of it. But especially in my 20s, like I loved makeup. And I start like just looking and like Google like an ingredient. And I'm like, what are like these big words? I don't know what they are. And I start learning. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this could give you cancer. This should be like avoid eyes and all this. And I'm like, I'm using it and I'm around my baby and I'm like kissing my baby, I'm touching my baby, and I'm like, I'm here worried about like the diapers, the soap, but then yet like I'm covered in all of these ingredients that probably not safe for him or I. And that's kind of spiked my journey of like researching and then finding out that it's not regulated. And I'm like, wait, what? Like that was like crazy to me because I started making like small products like I did like lip balm, lotion, scrubs, things that I put on myself, my more of like, you would put lotion, I use lip balm a lot. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to sell it on Etsy. Etsy was starting up at that time, and I started looking into regulations, and I'm like, wait, first of all, it's not safe on the shelves and it's not regulated. And I'm like my mind was like blown.
It's scary. It's scary
It
to
really
know
is.
that. And like that realization is not only a mind blow, but it's like sad. I think when I figured it out, I felt really sad. Like, how and why are we not protected?
Right? So
Yeah.
like, and that's kind of where I'm like, wait, like I really need to like know what's in my products and like take this into my own hands. I never thought that my business is going to be what it is today. Sometimes I say that it's like accidental business because I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. Like at that point, I had 3 children and that was my thing, but it kind
Yeah.
of like spiraled into like rabbit holes and like figuring it out. And then little by little, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this.
I love that. And I want to touch on that a little bit. So for anyone listening, I don't think you understand the gravity of that sentence, right? Because we start in a business or we're like, we're going to do this little thing. And I hear a lot of people saying, I have to have it all figured out. Like, we've got to figure out the whole plan and what am I going to do 10 years down the road and all of this. And much like you, I had zero clue. Like, if
Mhm.
you would have told me 13 years ago that I'd be right where I am today, having the academy, being on a podcast, I'd be like, you're crazy. There's no way. Like, all I wanted was a few more clients in my seat, not all of this. I couldn't have dreamt it. So, the weight of that statement is so impactful because if you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're like, maybe you're in that situation where you're starting a business or you're thinking about starting a business and you feel like you have to have it all figured out,
Mhm.
we are here to tell you you don't.
You absolutely don't because I didn't know anything really. I didn't know the business side of it. I didn't know ingredients. I didn't know the formulations. I did not know anything. And it started with just researching. And the more you know, the better you could do. So as soon as I start learning, start doing my little markets, was able to afford like organic chemistry and formulation class that I took for 2 years, learned more there and just continued growing. And then became an esthetician and then did master aesthetics, then opened up a school to teach it, but I still don't know everything. And then as soon as you think you know it, like there's something else to learn. So like if you're gonna wait until you learn everything, you'll just never do it. And I feel like nobody knows what they're doing. It just some people do it.
Yeah, yeah, it's just figuring it out as you go. I my one of my biggest superpowers is I really, really listen to my intuition, my gut. I
Mhm.
If I feel it, I don't know how it's going to work. I have no idea how it's going to come together, but I really tune into what my body is telling me because I know that it won't steer me the wrong way. Um, when I do that, things have always worked out, even if it's not like work out, even if something failed, it failed in a way to teach me something. And then I was able to like go to the next step, right? The second I don't listen to my intuition is the times where I struggle the most. It's hard because I had that same thought of like, well, that seems scary. That seems like too much. I don't know how to do it. So I'm just not going to, or I'm going to take the safe route. that always proved to be much harder on me.
Oh no, I absolutely have to listen to your gut feeling. I think with any business decision, like at the end of the day, I've learned enough that it doesn't steer me in the wrong direction and they gotta go for it.
Yeah, even when things are scary, because I'm sure as you were starting everything out, it might have felt scary for you to like go down this whole rabbit hole.
Oh no, absolutely. The information I was finding out was like scary, just like knowing that like you have to be responsible as a consumer yourself, really. You can't rely on a store or a brand or anybody. You really have to be uh, doing your own education and learning and see what fits and what's your values.
Yeah, yeah, because there is so much out there.
Oh, yeah.
So when you were starting this, like, and you started to make these products in your kitchen
Mhm.
out of necessity, take us back to that moment after you put it on Etsy and you're starting to like maybe see this thing working out for you. What was that moment like for you?
Uh, well, I opened up my Etsy shop. I think I had 7 different flavors of lip balms with my first post, and I called my mom and my sister, go buy it and leave a review. And then I
Your
remember
mom and
just
sister.
getting my first order that like a person I don't know, and I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody wants it. Like that was such a like satisfying, fulfilling feeling. And I did a lot of markets in my area, so I got a lot of feedback from people like, "Oh, I love your product," or "I love this. Where can I buy it?" And I'll tell them like, "Oh, I have an Etsy shop. I'll deliver to your house for free. You just order." And I had such a hard time converting people to from in person to online. Again, this is a decade ago, and like they'll come like, "Oh, I love this like lip balm," but as soon as I run out, like I don't know where to find it. I'm like, "Oh, here's my Etsy shop," but they won't order. It was like very handful people like locally that would order. I did start getting more from just United States and different like states that people would order, but like locally, I struggled and like, but again, we weren't ready for 100% of online shopping at that time. So I continued doing both until I realized that I need like a storefront. Like if I want to grow this, especially locally, and that's when I purchased Airstream, which is a camper, and we converted it into my first shop.
Ah, I love that. So, but you're not in the camper for your
Oh no,
first
no,
shop
no, no,
anymore,
no.
right? Yeah.
Oh, no,
I
no.
was gonna say, because I went to your store before I knew you. It was the cutest store ever. Are you still in downtown Harrisonburg?
We're still in downtown, but now we moved out of that space that you visited, and we have our own buildings that we were able to purchase. We have one across the street where we do production and shipping, and then another one across the street where we have our storefront, the spa, and the school in. So you'll have to come back and give us another visit.
Oh, for sure. My family's down there, so I will definitely be there to visit. So, like, that's pretty incredible. You go from doing this in your kitchen out of necessity for your kids, and now you have a full-blown store, online sales. You
Yeah.
started a whole school for
Yeah.
estheticians, which really blew my mind when we were talking. So let's dive a little bit into that. Like, what did that look like for you, and why did you decide to jump into that?
Well, first of all, like for about 2 years before I took aesthetics, we kept on posting on social media that we're looking for an esthetician. We're looking for a esthetician to like hire within because like in my 30s, I just did not want to go back to school and it's time commitment, it's financial commitment. So I was just trying to find a person to hire. Uh, During that 2 year process, I've learned that it's really hard to find somebody who shares your values. And I'm like, if I'm gonna put my name and you're gonna work for me, like these are certain things that are non-negotiable, like, certain ingredients, certain products, certain techniques. Like this is what we're about. We are more holistic. We don't do Botox injections, none of that. We're using ingredients that are good and it's going to help your microbiome, not destroy it. And it was really, really hard. I didn't have one potential to hire in 2 years, like that we put it on. And then I'm like, okay, well, I really want this. And we have people that ask, like, is there a salon we could go, that have your products. And we had a few in and out that will buy our products and use them. We didn't have a back bar or anything at that time because it wasn't my focus at that time. But they won't have like a full line, or they'll carry it, then they'll stop, they'll order again. Is nobody consistently that I could be like, here you go, they have it. And to a nail salon, I bring my own nail polish, but to go into a esthetician and bring your own products might be a little awkward. um,
I'm not beneath that though. Depending on where I'm at, I would
Great.
do it.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm like, I really want to do this. Plus, I'm like, I've learned like the product side, the ingredient side. You do learn some skin, but like for personal development, I would like to learn more from like aesthetic and like learn a little bit more. I'm like, and then there's a technique called buccal massage that became very popular, and for years it's been popular overseas, but like here it's like quietly coming in and people are finally learning about it and the benefits. And I really wanted to have that available, not for only myself, but like for the rest of the people. So that's the reason I went in, because I really wanted to do that particular technique, and it's for aging and it's working your masseter muscles. Like it's amazing. And nobody's doing the closest person I found was like in DC, and I got and seen her, but I'm like, I'm not gonna drive 2 hours, as often as
No,
I want
that's a
to.
far drive from Harrisonburg.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do basics. I'm just gonna do something little, learn this, and like so I could practice it. Then you get sucked in, and then I ended up staying there for masters, because in state of Virginia, you can't do like lymphatic drainage with your basic, and that's a huge part of it. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get my masters. So I stayed for masters, and then the owner of that school, she's like, you guys would be such a great teachers, because I talked my sister-in-law in doing it with me, and she's amazing esthetician here at our spa, Victoria, and so we were doing it together, and then she's like, you guys will be such a good teachers. Like, you guys should consider opening like a school. And I'm like, no, like I love learning, but like teaching, like English is my second language. I'm like, school just does not like it scares me more, to go there, get along teach. So I'm like, no, 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 no. So I went through masters, and she comes up and she's like, you really should guys consider teaching. Like you would be so good at it. And I'm like, okay, well, let me talk. So we talked, and Victoria, I'm like, as long as she does it with me, I'll do it. So we decided to do it because it's such a big impact, like going to school and learning. Obviously, what the state wants you to learn, and we have textbooks and rules that we have to follow, but being able to influence and show them the other way, that your, chemicals that necessarily are great for you, and being able to let the students use our products and see the difference. Because even though I feel like we've come such a long way from like this decade, from like holistic equals like quality and results, I feel like sometimes people think like it has to be some kind of concoction that's gonna burn your skin off to see results, but it's not true. So just to be able to share that with the students and show them, our side and how we practice, and that we are successful, and people do want this. Consumers are educated now. Like we have Google, okay?
For
So
sure.
so
Yeah.
it's been like incredible to be like an influence and resource for them.
I love that. So again, you just followed your intuition
Hmm.
and you saw a gap there and you
Oh,
filled the gap.
this is still a huge gap, honestly, in our industry. Like it's a
Yeah.
big gap.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking the first time, we were talking about it's like that awareness piece, right? Same with the hair industry. It's starting to come up. People are hearing those buzzwords and they are looking and educating themselves a little bit more, but we're still very much in that awareness stage where people just are starting to learn, and then we're trying to teach them the right things, right? And it not all be greenwashed, because that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is this beautiful space, because I love the education too. I mean, that's why I have the academy. That's why I have the podcast. Is I just love sharing knowledge And
Mhm.
that seems like exactly how you are, you and your sister.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's kind of awesome to like educate somebody and like teach them what you've learned. And so it took me a decade to learn what I know and be able to teach them that.
Yeah, it's shortening that gap
Oh,
because
yeah.
for me, I mean, I didn't have anybody who taught me or guided me or held my hand through learning all of these different things. It literally was just on me to do the research. And if I'm being honest, I love doing the research. I love like figuring out how to do things outside of the box or figuring out a better way, right? How do we continue to increase the workability of products and services and decrease our carbon footprint, our waste, the toxicity of everything? It's a fun, like a Rubik's Cube for me. So I do it and then I just help others.
And I love that. I love that. And we're kind of doing something similar. We're trying to get better. And the more resources and more things that are available to us, we every year improve, and get better and try to do our part. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. And I don't think there's anybody who's 100% could say that they did all the check marks and boxes, but we do our part in ways that we can.
Yeah, and it's just 1% better
Yeah,
each day from the day before. And I think that's the only way we can tackle this problem, right? Is because it took how many decades to get to where we are today?
right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we started like you started a little bit probably before me, a couple years, but we started at the same similar times and like there was not a lot of resources. There wasn't like a podcast you could go listen. There's not a course you could buy. I feel like it's so much easier now, but when we've started, like you had to spend your 16-hour days learning and digging into things like oh, the beginnings were rough. Lots of research. I do love it, but I feel like it's so
Yeah.
much more easier to obtain now.
Of course. And so there's the other side of the coin to that as well, because
And I feel like with all this information, we're almost like expected to know everything, like on your sourdough, on your garden, on your products. I feel like we have to like know everything and almost like expected to know, but we don't. Like you just learn like, this is what your expertise or this is what you do when you learn something new. For me, like, yeah, I love learning all of it, but um yeah, I feel like it's overwhelming and or
I
expectations
stayed in
of
my lane.
society. Yeah. I'm like,
I
it's
stay
yeah.
in my lane because the
Oh no,
other stuff,
in professional, absolutely, because
yeah,
that's way too much.
for sure. Yeah, but same thing. This whole sourdough thing, I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be so much fun. Someone gave me a sourdough starter, and I'm like, oh darn, I think I killed it. I don't know what I've done.
I've mastered that over COVID.
Look
I
at
enjoyed
that.
that part. That was fun. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I have definitely not mastered it, but it's also not a top priority. But
no, and I'm talking more of us as a society. I feel like we're just expected to know everything, just because that's what you see on social media and that's what people like portray or whatever not, but it's just like such a high expectation for everybody.
yeah, we're supposed to know everything, and we're also supposed to live these Instagrammable, beautiful lives.
Mhm.
And the fact of the matter is, we don't. We live very real lives. Like right now, you see a pretty background.
Mhm.
And then if I turn the camera, which I've shown before,
Right?
literally, well, actually, for Instagram,
Here, I'll give you one
but
too. They could see
yeah.
my other side of my office.
So
Literally, like, there you go.
we'll
What I
put these on YouTube. So if you're listening to this, go look at YouTube. And this is day to day life, right? We're not meant to be perfect. Um, but we do the very best that we can. And I think that especially in the world of beauty, right? Bringing it back to what we do is this world of beauty. You see everyone looking so perfect, well put together all the time. And that's just not reality. Our homes are not Instagram worthy all the time. Like, yeah, I clean up. And yes, this desk looks very beautiful when I don't have all of my boxes to keep my computer up. And I threw all my makeup on right before we got on here. So I think that it's really important to realize that. And for me, it was a matter of questioning everything that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
How did this work for me? Why did I want this? Right? Why am I using these products? Because I've been told by society that these products are good because it's just what I've used forever. Like, what is it? And what's the reason behind me using products, buying things, putting on makeup, trying to live a perfect life? Once I started questioning everything, that truly allowed me to stop and think, do I even want this?
Yeah.
And once you do that, that just frees up space for you to look at, what do you actually want? What's important to you? What is it? Ingredients? Is it sustainability? Is it vegan? Is it, there's so many different values there when we're looking at beauty and hair and skin and all of these things. And you don't have to use it just because your mom used it forever, or it's the product that you used in school or your last salon. You don't have to do anything, and you get to really choose what is important to you.
Oh yeah, and I completely agree. And going back to the beauty industry, one of our mottos is we're not here to change how you look. We are here to enhance your natural beauty and your already beautiful self and instill confidence. For me, like I wear makeup because it gives me some confidence. Like I feel better. I'm not wearing it for the society or anybody else. Like there's plenty of days where I run out with nothing on, but it's just something I do for myself. And I feel like that whole aspect is starting to change in the beauty industry. And I
Yes.
hope it'll continue. But the flip side is now like Botox and injectables and surgeries are way more feasible for people and to be able to get, and like not knowing the long-term effects on it and how it affects your overall body is kind of scary for me, to be honest. And it used to be like when you're in 50s and 70s, you might go and get a Botox. Now people in their 20s are getting it. So it's a little bit scary. And so we're trying to change how people perceive the procedures and how they take care of themselves. You could still go to a salon, you could get facials. You will have a beautiful before and after without have to put like toxins into your body.
Yeah. That is such a really good point because, I mean, to each its own, right? I'm never going to say,
Oh,
oh, that's
absolutely.
terrible.
No.
But me personally, I wouldn't. Again, there's not enough research. And something that really pops into my mind is, okay, think about how our society has been.
Mm-hmm.
You saw in the 50s, everyone smoking, every mother smoking, everybody. It was cool. It was safe. It was
Doctors promoted it for pregnancies. There's posters like pregnant ladies smoking promoted by a doctor. I'm like, what was that?
right because the
Yeah.
research wasn't there. It
No.
was a marketing tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, I mean, really, really frustrates me about our society is the things that we are pushed on, promoted, told that is good, told that we need to do. 90% of it comes from a company who has a
Yeah.
ton of money to market to you and
Yeah.
to show you that this is how. I mean, like cigarettes were safe and everybody was doing it. Now we know with the research that it is extremely not safe, right? So just think about that. If they were promoting cigarettes and we know what it does now,
Yeah.
what is Botox and fillers and all of these procedures? What is the lasting effect? We don't know because we can't have that research for another 10, 20 years down the line. What is it actually doing to your body? So really thinking beyond this quick fix
Yeah.
because there's no quick fixes in the world that don't have consequences.
Feel like beauty equals time. Like it's
Mhm.
gonna take time. Botox is a shortcut to whatever you want, like at the moment. But I feel like you can achieve it. It might take you longer, and it's just like educating, like through lymphatic drainage, like through face massages, doing buckle. Like we get some incredible results, but it's not a quick fix. Like it's something you have to go home. We'll show you some exercises you could do. It's something you have to upkeep. But same thing with that, you have to go every couple months and like get injected, but it's just more of that convenience.
Yeah.
For some convenience, and some of them people lack of education, not knowing that there's other options and you don't have to do that. Or like even fillers, like, oh, I thought it was just hyaluronic acid. Oh, I thought it dissolves 100%. Well, no, there's still things, it's still a foreign substance in your body, and it never dissolves 100%. You're always going to have 5 to 10%, and it travels. But now some doctors have been putting things out and diagrams and studies, and it's like, oh, but I thought it was just hyaluronic acid. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah. And that's questioning everything. Like, look at the research, ask the questions. And if you make a very conscious decision because
Mhm.
you've looked at every aspect, then do what you want, right? Again, I'm not here, I'm sure you're not here to
Oh,
say
no.
don't
No.
do any of these. But do your research. You have to know what's behind them and not just jump on these trends or just jump on it because, your bestie got hers done and she looks great. Well, you don't have the research of what that's going to look like a few years from now and what's happening with our bodies. We have to become advocates for ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not absolutely not judging somebody who does. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
plenty of clients who absolutely love it and they do it, but they still come for our facials and we work with it and help it m make it even better for them. But yeah, if this is what you choose with your research and education, please.
Yeah. And it's just being educated and knowing what's going on. I think that that is whether you're a beauty professional, and this is what I teach my students too, is, I do so many different things because of my values. You've got to find what's important to you
Mhm.
and then go down that one lane first because there are so many.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Right? That one lane first, do your research, implement that. So one thing at a time and see what's important to you. And then you can start to bring in more things and change more products, whether it is products or the services you get or the services that you're going to start to offer. It's just really important to take the one time and be educated and know all of the different steps.
That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. I agree.
I I love it. So let's get back to your products and all the things that you're doing. Where can we find the products? Like if somebody's listening and they really want to try out your products, where can we find them?
So with simplicitybeauty.com is our hub, and you could find all of our products, all of our information. We
Yes.
have full ingredient list listed. We have ingredients glossary. So if you wanted to go and see where the product has been sourced or where it's from, you're able to go and find it. We have a store in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where we have also the spa and the school. We're super excited. We've done a little bit of selling to spas, and some local people use our products in their um, services, but we're launching a back bar. I think it is available on our website. We're trying to be conscious about like financial aspect of it, the efficacy, and just overall, because at the end of the day, spas, we're still a business. So we're changing some of the packaging. We have glass containers, but for like bigger bulk things, we actually have containers that will be here hopefully next 2 3 weeks. And they're made from wheatgrass, so they are completely biodegradable and they're plant-based. So that will reduce the shipping cost for people. They still look really beautiful, and And we're still containing like glass and that, but this is something new that we're implementing for our spa users, spa people, spa users, spas. Uh, words are
Fantastic. Our beauty professionals, our
beauty
esthetician.
professionals.
Yes.
So we're super excited to be able to offer that.
That is fantastic. I think that that's a really big thing. So, anyone listening, if you are an esthetician and you're looking for really great, clean, transparent, here's the thing that I heard as you were talking, and what I look for when I am looking for brands to work with: transparency. Where are the ingredients sourced? Not just made with like our key ingredients. Yeah, key ingredients are great. And what's in the rest of it, right? And you just said everything, like you can see the ingredients, you can see where they're sourced from, what the bottle's like. So you're very transparent. And I think that that is a huge, huge bonus for people, because that's what's going to help you choose the brands that you want to work with.
Yes, and we have material safety data sheet available for you too.
Love it.
We have a couple about, so for last 2 years, we've been working on 5 new products that are going to be amazing, adding to the facials and for their home care. They'll be launching early this spring. It took forever, and our testing, I think we were in DC for one of the Aspires where we got our results and they passed. So it was early January. We finally passed all their safety, and now it's in production, and we'll be launching them early this spring. So keep your eye out on that, because those are some like incredible products, especially for the spa.
Fantastic. So you are innovating, you're continuing to come out with new stuff, and that's the product source. But let's get into the school too. So if you are looking to go to school to be an esthetician, if you are in the Harrisonburg area or surrounding areas, tell us more about how they can get involved and take a look at your school.
So our school is WS School of Aesthetics. If you go on the website, we have a lot more information. You are welcome to contact us and schedule a little tour. We do very small classes. Right now, the sizes of our classes are 4 people, and that's intentionally so you could be getting a lot of one-on-one. Our current both basics and masters are full in this full swing, but we're going to have a basic opening. I think next one we're going to, I think cutoff is like end of May, beginning of June, for our next available class. So we are booking ahead, if you will. So if you are interested, let us know. But it's also because we have such a small classes, and again, this is intentional. We have 3 master instructors, and we offer both basic and masters and some extra electives that you're able to take with us.
That is fantastic. I love that it's small, because
Yeah, me too.
when I went to cosmetology, I mean, we didn't have like a huge, huge class, but it was not tiny. I think there was like 20 of us. And,
Mhm.
when you need that more individualized attention and talking to someone and working through things to understand, especially because I'm dyslexic. I've always had an issue with flipping things. So I have to really like go over things over and over and over again. So that's a huge bonus. And for anyone who's obviously not dyslexic, but this
No,
is
but
such a used thing.
I think hair, and same thing with aesthetics, there's techniques and different things. And like you want that person to be like, oh, the wrong angle. Oh, it needs to go this way. You're not on the right spot. Like, so to be able to like guide them, because they're gonna walk out and they're gonna represent us. They're gonna tell whoever they're working for they went to our school. So they better be good estheticians.
I love that. And then as you go through school, like you're learning clean ingredients, you're learning more holistic approaches to your craft, which is phenomenal. I'm so excited for you and for everyone in your schools and your future students. This is just an amazing thing. And I'm really happy to see that you've created that and that you're filling that gap. I would love to see more schools adopt, sustainability and clean practices so that we can teach, our future estheticians and stylists and everything a better, healthier way, not only for ourselves, for our clients and the planet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm excited with what you're doing because my daughter is in cosmetology, so she's been like fascinated to see
Oh,
like what you've
good.
done. So, and I was telling her that I'm gonna be on your podcast. She's like, oh wow. So
How
yeah, I'm excited
exciting.
that you're like leading that industry with the hair because I feel like hair might be even harder. It's like, dyes and stuff. But I'm also not a hair person. That's why I do aesthetics. Like if I washed it and that's as far as it's gonna get with me.
Your hair
But
looks
my daughter,
great.
thanks, but my daughter loves hair.
I love that. And yeah, it is, we're getting there. There's more options. There's, again, it's that education and awareness around it. There is no like clean color line,
Yeah.
unless we're looking at henna, but then that's got it. Henna has its own set of problems, from a different aspect. So we work with the cleaner and try to reduce the big, like formaldehydes, parabens, sulfates, PPDs, that type of thing, to reduce those. Yes. And it's just being educated. And I'm so happy these days. We've got so many innovative businesses filling the gaps, so that we can have, like you said earlier, it is like the product has to work. It can't just be fluff and like, oh, yeah, it's natural. Great. But does it do anything? Same with hair. If it does not do what it says and we can't run our professional, like grade hair behind the chair, like people are not going to care how clean or sustainable it is. And we've been very fortunate that a lot of people are out there innovating and, bringing these new types of products to us. And there's like a whole list of products that I absolutely adore. And so many more out there coming up every day.
No, it's amazing. And I said, give it another decade and hopefully it'll be a lot different.
Yes, hopefully in a decade we'll all have already switched over and everybody's like on the up and up with being clean and sustainable. And that's what we've been talking about, is like it's not going away. People aren't just going to be like, "Oh, no, I don't want clean products." It is only going to grow and be more expected, especially once our clients start to realize that they can get the results and that there's businesses out there who are going to focus, and prioritize their health and wellness.
Oh, absolutely. And I said, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. So,
No. No matter how hard
Nope.
it seems or how hard you try to unlearn it because it's scary. Nope, could never unlearn it. So I just dove off the deep end. Sounds like you did too.
Me too. I'm one of those crazies.
Yeah, that's, I own it. It's like, oh, I'll try anything. Like I'm all for it. I will be scared out of my mind and I still will do it.
Absolutely.
Well,
If I'm passionate about it.
Exactly. I just want to thank you for being on the podcast. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to come down where I'm going to come in, see the store. I will do a whole recording on the store so that I can show everyone too, because I cannot wait to see it again. And, just thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and thanks for the work you do.
Thank you. All right, everyone listening, make sure you go and you follow and go to the store and go to the school and like and subscribe and all of those things so that we can keep bringing you podcast interviews, inspiration and education on this topic of clean, sustainable, and holistic beauty. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I hope today's episode gave you valuable insight and inspiration to take your salon to the next level. Before you go, I wanted to remind you that the Holistic Salon Academy is opening up soon. So if you're ready to dive deeper into clean, holistic, and sustainable salon practices and build a truly impactful business, be sure to join the waitlist. By signing up, you'll be the first to access all of the details and exclusive content before anyone else. You definitely don't want to miss out. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps to grow the show and reach more salon owners just like you. And lastly, come hang out with me on Instagram at Clean Beauty Biz Coach, where I'm a real life person who loves to connect with you. I'm always in my DMs answering your questions and would love to chat more over there. Thanks again for being here, and remember, every step forward is a step towards lasting change. Until next time.